Hello and welcome to the TCF Morning Show. It is Thursday, February 11th, and this morning I am joined by Boomy at Boomy TCF. I am Zach Lilia at Z Lilia TCF. We gotta give a birthday shout out to Boomy's brother Trey Bloomhurst. It is
Appeared on the show.
We're both 26 now.
The old asses. And there's another shout out. My dad's birthday. My dad has been on the show with us. Yep.
What are the odds of that?
Well, and it's crazy because my mom and our grandpa have the same birthday. So, and then our sisters their birthdays are one day apart. So it kind of runs in the family.
That's crazy. This morning on the show, we'll be talking about Russell Wilson wanting out of Seattle, maybe. The Blackhawks, they keep winning. They also love overtime. I think half of their games have gone to overtime. The Bulls, they are playing the Pelicans. Well, they are playing them last night. They're playing them right now. It is one of the most high-scoring games I've seen in a while. Zach LaVine had himself a first quarter 20 points. We'll have a little college basketball talk, and we will end the show with Boomys Wacky Web Story. If you want to follow us on Facebook or Instagram, just type in Typical Chicago Fans. You can find us on there. Go over the YouTube page. Type in Typical Chicago Fans. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Morning shows, podcasts, interviews, food reviews, all on the YouTube page. Then wherever you get your podcast from, if it's Apple, please subscribe, rate, and review. If it's anywhere else, just type in Typical Chicago Fans. You will find us on there. Shout out to 26shirts.com, Chicago. Use the promo code Typical Chicago Fans at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. Again, that is Typical Chicago Fans at checkout for 15% off of your purchase at 26shirts.com, Chicago. Boomy, how are you doing today?
Doing well, man. I can't complain. We're on the down slope of the week. Yep. The weekend is closer than the beginning of the week was, so very little to complain about, man.
It's Thursday. We are close to the weekend. Most Chicago teams are playing well right now. The Bulls and Blackhawks are playing pretty well. But let's start off the show here with some Russell Wilson talk. A guy who you never really think of on leaving Seattle, and he goes out there and they talk about it, and he goes, "That's a Seattle question on the if he's going to be with them next year." And it kind of seems like he's a little bit maybe fed up with the offensive line, maybe.
I was going to say, can you blame the guy for being a little upset and wanting out of town? He's been there like 10 years, and don't get me wrong, they went to the Super Bowl, and they've had the teams that they did. But, I mean, even when they won the Super Bowl, one of their downfalls was their offensive line, and they've done nothing for him. I mean, the guy has been – I think I saw that he's been sacked 394 times in his career.
Oh, my gosh.
That's insane. That is a huge number. And, I mean, yeah, you can talk about, a guy playing his whole career in a place, but, like, at some point, like, that's going to come back to bite him in his career in the end. So, I mean, he's given them more than enough time, and they just have a patchwork offensive line. He's got some weapons. He's got Metcalf. He's got Carson, and their defense was bad this year, which is what they're known for. And, literally, I mean, go ask any everyday NFL fan, like, what's Seattle's biggest downfall? They'll tell you it's their offensive line, and it always has been. I can't blame the guy for wanting, the possibility to leave the door open to maybe get out. It's got to be frustrating because he is one of the three best quarterbacks in the NFL, and he's spending so much time on his back.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens if they're going to improve the team or if they're going to go in the direction of getting a trade for him. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll have to see. There could be possibly a lot of quarterbacks on the move this offseason, but we're going to have to kind of see where everything goes at the start of when does free agency start?
Probably I want to say like the middle of March, because that's when the NFL's fiscal year, calendar year starts. So I want to say we got about another month left until free agency.
And the Bears, who knows what the Bears are doing? Hopefully not in the Wentz. Right? I think they're out of the Wentz trade at this point. So yeah, I like that.
Philly's asking way too much.
Yeah, so that's That's amazing to hear because
Maybe they've turned their focus to acquiring Russell Wilson.
that'd be awesome. That'd be really awesome. But the Blackhawks win again. Would have been
Tuesday.
on Tuesday. They won in overtime. Like I said, I think they've been to overtime at least half their games,
Yeah.
if not. It's pretty crazy.
They're
But
6-4-4.
Last two they have won in overtime without having to go to a shootout. They're just starting to look like they have a little more energy. They're having fun with it. They get down 1-0 on Tuesday. They get the game tied back up. They kind of seem like they were in control at the end there, and then they go to overtime and win the game a good 2 points. So that's 4 points in the last two. And really and truthfully, the biggest thing for the Blackhawks right now is they are not having to suspend games, postpone games. I think they're one of very few teams in the NHL that haven't had a game postponed yet.
And hey, let's not forget they're doing this without Kirby Dack, and they're doing this without their captain. I mean, that's saying something. And I've poo-pooed all over this team after the start that they had, and I mean, giving up 10 goals in the first two games, but they are putting things together, and DeBrincat's come to play, and Kane is obviously Patrick Kane, but they're starting to get a little bit of goaltending. The defense,
some energy in this team.
Yeah, and it's kind of one of those situations where you wonder, like, is it where they told these guys, like, hey, listen, like, there's so many open spots and open, places available. If you want a contract, you want to make some money, now's the time to go out and prove that you belong on the roster. And a big weekend ahead. They have Columbus twice, who's right behind them in the standings.
Columbus tonight.
It's definitely an opportunity. Yeah, yep, tonight. And then I think they're off Friday and play them again on Saturday. So a huge opportunity. They're only sitting 3 points out in first place in their division, tied for second right now. So,
it's exciting. They are probably higher up in the division because they have more games, but that's not their fault. They're not having any problems with COVID right now, and that's awesome. I mean, that should be looked at a little more.
Yeah, you got to take that into consideration. I mean,
I think that's what I was saying.
Dallas has only played 10, Tampa's played 11, Florida's played 10, but I mean, outside of that, Columbus has played 14, Nashville's played 13, and Detroit's played 14. You can only play the games that you're scheduled, and they're taking care of business right now. And do I expect this team to be in the 2 spot at the end of the year? No, but it's, let it ride while you got it. Ride the hot hands and see if you've got guys that are ready to go when we get Doc back, when we get Taze back, and just kind of, ride it out and fill those spots.
Yeah, they're at least exciting to watch right now. Another team that we think is an exciting team to watch is the Bulls, who struggled here going into halftime. They had a lead in the first quarter. Zach LaVine had 20 points. He couldn't miss from 3. And then they go down 8 at halftime. By halftime, they're down 8. It seemed like they was like 66-66 at one point.
Yeah, it was an 8-0 run to end the half.
Yeah, and it's just like it seems like we can't put full games together right now.
Here's the deal, Zach. They give up 74 in the first half. You double that, that's 148 points. You give up 148 points in any NBA game, I bet the winning percentage is less than 10.
What also doesn't help is they had 44 points in the first quarter, which is the most they had all season, and they turn around and have 22 in the second.
It's a young team, an inconsistent team, but hopefully they can pull this one out. But
so is the Pelicans, and they're playing pretty well.
Definitely. I agree. It's just, it's one of those where you'd like to see the progression start to equate into wins and consecutive wins. Like, it seems like, I know they're 9-14, but doesn't it feel like they win a good game, they play well, and then they drop a game to a Wizards team that they should be beating? And you want to see, obviously we can all agree that there's been progression this year, but at some point you'd like to see the progression turn into wins. And I don't want to seem like I'm the gun and being pissed that they're losing games, because I'm really not. But at the same time, you want to see that plan fall into place that we talked about when Karnisovas got brought in, when Billy Donovan got brought in. And you see that there is the ability to win there. It's not like, they're the lowly bottom seed. They're not the Detroit Pistons or the Timberwolves or whatever the case is. Like they are capable of it. You just want to see them put that into action over a period of time.
Yeah, they have a lot to learn, but they are you can see soaking it all up right now.
Yeah, 100%. This is what's wild.
Finally seems like there's a head coach there that wasn't there last year that the players will actually listen to and go to for advice and stuff like that. So that's nice to know.
Just a little tidbit I want to throw out, Zach. The Bulls have a winning percentage of .391, right? They're 9-14. If they were in the West and had a winning percentage of .391, they would be in 14th place. Got to take advantage of it, though.
But guess what? They're in the East, so that's all that matters.
I always love looking at those.
Boom, you got a little college basketball talk for us.
Yeah, man, and I don't know how much you've been watching, been paying attention, but we talked a lot about Iowa early, and Iowa's kind of hit the skids here lately. They're sitting at 13-16. We haven't really talked a ton of college hoops since Illinois-Iowa. Illinois gives them a win or gives them a beating at Illinois. Illinois, I think, is at the 6. They're ranked 6th in the country right now. I don't know if you're not watching Illinois hoops. I don't know what you're doing with your life, but listen to this. In the top 15 in the country, we have Michigan at 3, and obviously they've been off for 2 weeks. Ohio State at 4, Illinois at 6, and then Iowa at 15. So, I mean, the Big Ten is, and then you still have Wisconsin at 21, Purdue at 24, and Rutgers at 25. That's the Big Ten. That is every night. The only quote-unquote guaranteed wins right now is Nebraska, and I hate to say it, but Northwestern doesn't look very good. But, man, if you're not watching Big Ten hoops right now, like, what are you doing with your life? And locally, Loyola, Illinois sneaks into the top 25. They are ranked 22nd. They sit at 17-3, and they gave Drake their first loss of the year. So there's some good local hoops, man, and I don't know. It just seems like, conference tournaments and the NCAA tournament's right around the corner. Are you wavering at all from your Gonzaga pick that we talked about early in the year? Do you still like Gonzaga?
I like Gonzaga and Baylor. Those seem like the two teams that are like above everybody.
Here's what the argument I'm going to make. I think Baylor is the better team, and don't get me wrong. I think Baylor is doing this night in and night out in what I think is the second best conference in the country. They're 17-0. They're steamrolling teams.
Is good.
The Big 12 is good.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You're good. And they are just blowing through it like a hot knife through butter, man. It's fun to watch. And don't get me wrong, we talked about this a million times. Like, you can only play who's on your schedule. Gonzaga can only play, Pepperdine. And Gonzaga actually was given a little run by Pepperdine not too long ago. But they're blowing out like Pacific and San Diego and Portland. It's just like, those are great. You can only play who you're scheduled to play, but like Baylor's doing the same thing against a hell of a lot better schedule. And I know this is another one. Speaking of Baylor, I wanted to bring this up. Texas in the Big 12. Texas looked really good early, and we kind of went back and forth on, Shaka Smart being out. This is a completely different team without Shaka Smart. And Texas, they're a good team, and they're still ranked, but at the end of the day, man, they look like they are lost without Shaka. They've dropped down to number 13. They're 11-5, and I don't think they've won a game since January 16th. They just look completely lost.
Yeah, and it's just a weird year with big teams like Duke and Kentucky.
It's beautiful.
Not being up at the top, it's weird.
It is. No Duke, no Kentucky.
Awesome.
Kansas has hit the skids real bad. Kansas is, I think they were up to like number 3 in the country, and they're not even ranked. Kentucky obviously is, 5-12 or whatever they're at. Duke is going to have to make a run in the conference tournament they're going to have to get to the conference championship game at this point to even get a sniff. UNC, I think, is in, and I'm not just saying that to gas Matt's tires up at all, but it's one of those years, man, that you're going to see. I think Houston looks good. there's just some teams you don't expect to be basketball powerhouses that are sitting. I mean, Creighton is sitting at 19, USC at 20, because you had those teams, your Kentucky, your Blue Bloods, that are not, doing a whole heck of a lot this year. So it's fun to watch. And I think this is going to be a year, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I think we're going to see less mid-major two-bid conferences. I think, and as good as the Missouri Valley is, like Drake is good, Loyola is good, I still think you might only see one team out of that. And who knows who it could be. In a normal year, you might see both of them get in, but I think it's going to be a lot of chalk this year in the NCAA tournament, and I'm really looking forward to it. But you are not going to see those weird upsets of a team that, snuck in, like let's just say, for example, in the Missouri Valley, say Drake beats Loyola. In a normal year, they might get in. This year, they might not. If they don't get in, you're not going to get a 14 seed or a 12 seed Loyola that gets a 5 early in or a 3. You're not going to see those kinds of upsets. It's going to be a little bit more of the names that you recognize, I think. I hope I'm wrong, but if I'm looking at it right now, that's the perspective I'm getting out of it.
It'll be exciting to see what happens. Boomy, do you got a wacky web story for us?
I sure do, Zach. And do you remember this was probably in December. Do you remember all those monoliths that kept popping up, those pillar-looking things? Remember there was like one in the desert.
Oh,
those
yeah.
Metal monoliths. You thought they were gone, right? We haven't heard about them since December. Wrong. Another one pops up in Turkey. A metal monolith has mysteriously appeared and disappeared on a field in southeast Turkey. They said this one they believe is a publicity gimmick before a government event on Tuesday, which Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan announced a space program for the country. But stay woke, people, because I don't think the monoliths are going anywhere. They're going to – I don't know, Zach. Do you think these are all publicity stunts, or do you think there's a little something fishy going on with the monoliths still?
I'm not going to lie to you, Boomy. I have no idea.
I want to say there's aliens, something weird involved.
I mean, that'd be awesome.
Right? I mean, they're just telling us.
pro-alien.
Right. Oh, very much so. And we've, the government
what
has.
If aliens are smarter than us?
They're definitely smarter than us. We're sitting in here talking about monoliths in Turkey. They're definitely smarter than us, all right?
Yeah, I've always thought that. I'm like, it'd be cool to, like, interview an alien.
100%. And you could probably do it, like, telepathically. Like, you don't even have to speak words, I would imagine. But I'm all in on the aliens.
I don't think my brain could figure that one out.
Yeah, it's not worth, guys like me and you try to figure out. Let's leave it to the smarter people to figure this one. So, but no, I'm all in on the monoliths. Yeah, this one might have been a publicity stunt, but I'm telling you, something fishy going on here.
I think it was. Boomy, anything post-show?
How are you dealing with the cold, Big Z? This has been one of the coldest weeks that I can remember.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
My Pontiac is warming up just in time for me to get to work.
Yeah, it's awful. I hate it. I don't. The cold is. The snow is one thing, but the cold is awful.
Yeah, give me 25 and snowy all day. Give me negative.
I think we have a high of 0 in like tomorrow.
It's ignorant. It's so. I think my wife was just telling me that she saw somewhere that this weekend is like, if you don't go outside in the proper attire, you're like probably going to get frostbite. That's ridiculous.
I'm over it. But thank you to Booming.
Hey, quickly though, big shout out to you, Big Z. I know I posted on my social media the other day about my 100 miles, but you kicked my ass 125 when I got 100, so I wanted to give you a little shout out. Keep up the good work, brother.
Thank you. I would not have thought a few months ago that I'd be doing that, but it's actually something that I guess I enjoy. I hate going to the gym, but once I get it done, it's awesome. But I don't think I'll ever be thrilled to go to the gym. I'm not that type of person.
Give us some time. You will. I don't
know. But thank you to you for getting me to the gym. Boomy at Boomy TCF. I'm Zach Lilia at Z Lilia TCF. The main page at typical_Chicago. Instagram, Facebook, Typical Chicago Fans. You will find us on there. Type in Typical Chicago Fans on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Morning Show podcast interviews are all on there. Go to wherever you get your podcast from. Type in Typical Chicago Fans. If it is Apple, please subscribe, rate, and review. If it's anywhere else, you'll find us on there by typing in Typical Chicago Fans. And shout out to 26shirts.com, Chicago. Use the promo code Typical Chicago Fans at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. Again, that is 26shirts.com, Chicago. Those shirts like Boomy has on. If you want shirts just like that, use the promo code Typical Chicago Fans for 15% off of your purchase at 26shirts.com, Chicago. Anything else, Boomy?
Stay warm.
Yeah,
Have a good rest of the week. We'll be coming at you with a podcast this weekend and maybe a food review. I'm getting hungry for them cookies we still got. So
this has been the TCF Morning Show, Thursday, February 11th. We love you all.
Peace.